You just enrolled in the Ontario Real Estate Program and you're wondering, how do you get past course one? As someone who's passed course one years ago, I can tell you there's a different strategy that I would do today considering all the drastic changes that have come into play. So let me break it down in this video as I broke it down for 500 students before. So you're in good hands. Stay till the end because I'm gonna give you tons of tips, and the tips at the end might be the most relevant. Okay, so number one and the most important, and I think I've said this in all my videos, is click through the slides immediately. The slides are great and you definitely want to use those to study, but they are not the best way or nor the first method that I would recommend. Now, some people are going to want to use them and you can totally use them if you'd like, but in my experience, they waste a lot of time. They're very long, and there is a more efficient and better strategy to do it. So click through the slides, get through those as soon as possible. Make sure that you set time aside every single day. Don't rush it, don't let it burn you out, but just try to get through them as fast as you can. Now, once you've done that, then you want to go into step number 2, which is create a study schedule and an exam date. So we want to start with the end in mind. When exactly do you want to do your exam, and what does that study schedule look like? Now, I can tell you for most people in the real estate program, they start off on a high, it dips in excitement, and then it goes back up near the end. So you want to make sure that you're able to survive that dip, because that's where we get a lot of the drop off for people that quit real estate or that stop the course altogether. Or sometimes the course that could have taken 1 year takes 6 because they took a break, came back, took a break, came back, etc., etc. So decide now, what is that exam date you want to do? What does your study schedule look like? What's realistic for you? Can you do 1 hour a day? Can you do 2? Can you do 3? Keep in mind that's going to affect your exam date. For most people, I recommend somewhere around 3 to 4 weeks, and that's given that you're studying around 1 to 3 hours a day. Now, it varies depending on the person. The sweet spot is 2, but a very fast learner could do it in 1 hour a day, and a slower learner would do it in 3 hours a day. Now, I will say that I've had a lot of older learners who've come to me and told me, hey Shiva, I'm a slow learner, only to blow out the group. Do not put those limiting beliefs on yourself. We do not know what kind of learner you are. Okay, so get into it, get through studying, set a realistic schedule, and then we will see kind of how you take to the content. You might find it's very easy for you, or you might find that despite having a university degree, this for some reason is kind of stumping you. And that's okay, everybody's different. The goal is, how do we make sure that you get through this course as soon and easy as possible? Now, ideally you want this to be the same time every day. So this can be either in the morning or the evening or in the afternoon. Just keep in mind, if you're trying to squeeze this into your lunch break or right after work, it's likely to be less effective because you're going to be more tired or more distracted. This cannot be a passive thing. When I say 1 to 3 hours of study, I mean deep work, deep focused study. This can't be a podcast that you throw on while you're driving. That's not considered in our 1 to 3 hours. You can do that as extra if you'd like, but you do need 1, 2, or 3 hours that you can fully sit down and commit and focus. Once you've done that, then you want to break down your study schedule into actually what are you going to do each session. So kind of like sprints, and I've talked about this in another webinar which you can find here, but we break down sprints in terms of every week, what exactly are we trying to study and what's our focus for that week. So each session that you do, usually initially, is going to be more so reading. I recommend reading because we have to build a foundation first. If you hop straight into the MCQs, and I've seen this a lot with students, they immediately get discouraged, and that is not helpful in the long run. You want to make sure your motivation is high and your learning is high. So start for the reading, build a foundation first. Then as we go into the second week, it's going to be less reading, more MCQs, and our third week, right before our exam, should ideally be mostly MCQs. And then we just kind of brush up on some things, take a break a day before the exam, and then you do your exam. Now, some additional tips. Number 1, you don't need practice questions. They are very helpful and they help many students, but they are not necessary. I myself completed course 1 in 5 days without any practice questions. You can do it. I'm not extraordinary. You are probably better than me, trust me. Second, get a study buddy. The only reason I was able to complete these courses in a relatively short amount of time was because I had somebody who was constantly nagging me to get the courses done. They were saying, hey, are you done? Hey, are you finishing it? And that was really helpful for me to kind of speed through these courses. Number 3, clock in, clock out. Let these results speak for themselves. Do not put so much emphasis on a bad study session or put too much glory on a great study session. Each study session is simply that. It is just a study session. No matter what happens, you're going to wake up the next day and get back to it. This is how you should treat your study schedules and your results. We do not control the results, so there's no reason to worry about them. It's more likely than not that you're gonna pass if you are already watching this video. And fourth, if you do join a Facebook group, make sure that you do not compare yourself to anybody else. Everybody's different, and you're gonna see positive and negative reviews both. Now, what I want you to do is do your research initially, right? This is where the next step comes in. When you look at that Facebook group, look into the Facebook group and search comments relating to course 1, right? When you do that, you're gonna get tons of advice and posts about passing and failing and whatnot. And I want you to synthesize that for about 30 minutes. Just read through different posts and see what you can take from it. You're gonna get people's real live experience, and do not get scared about it, right? If you're thinking that you're gonna get scared when reading these posts, then do not do this step. You can skip this step. But if you're able to keep a straight, steady head, then read these posts because it can be really valuable insight. Now, I do want to say just really quickly, if you are not already in my Facebook group, that's where I post tons of different announcements. I give tons of tips as well. And we have about 5,000-6,000 people in that group, which you can connect with yourself. So the link is below. You can check that out. It's completely free. Okay, now this next part is what really makes or breaks students in real estate. And that is when you study, you have to make sure you are reevaluating your strategy. This means you have to constantly, every week, look at what is working, what is not, right? And although we set our exam date in our head, we did not book it yet. Meaning usually you want to look at booking your exam towards the 3rd week, right? Because we have 7 days usually before we can book the exam. So we can book it kind of 7 days out. So usually around the 3rd week, that's where we're going to look at, okay, are we ready to book it or not? Do we need to readjust our exam day? But weekly, you should be looking at your study strategy. Is it working? Is it not working? What is working? What isn't working? What do we like more of? What do we not want more of? And you can just kind of readjust based on that. Some people are more visual learners, so they would like to watch more videos. Some are more readers or MCQ people. You got to find out what is working best for you. And then you also want to look at additional tools. Usually after the first week, you'll have a good idea of how you're taking to the content, how your site schedule is looking like, and if you need additional support. So whenever people come to me and they're asking me, Shiva, what should I do? What is my exact plan? I can never really give it because it changes after the first week, right? After that first week, you might even need to buy an additional tool. You might want to join something like the coaching that I've had, that I do monthly with students, or you might want to continue doing it on your own, but maybe just extend your timeline. So do that first week, use it as a trial, as a test, and if it's not working, don't get down on yourself, use it as feedback. All of these things are feedback, not final. And final thing, if you are adjusting, not only the materials can help, but also the varying study techniques. So if you haven't used flashcards, try flashcards. If you haven't talked to somebody yet about the course, talk to them, get them to test you, try to define things out loud, right? So try to use these different techniques because when you vary up the techniques, your brain can take to it as new. And this also helps for people that fail exams. When they go to retake exams, the first thing I tell them is, hey, let's try something radically different. Because when you do something radically different, your brain will wake up. Versus these people who've retaken the exam, they're like, Shiva, I already know everything here. I read it, I get bored, I zone out. So reinvigorate your brain, give your brain life, try something different, and obviously keep the consistency. Now keep in mind for 2025, the course is harder. You guys who are watching this video now do have a harder exam than I did, which simply means you have to be more prepared and you're gonna have to make sure you really nail doing MCQs, which is why doing MCQ practice can really help. So hopefully those tips helped. Those are all the things that I would do if I was redoing this exam today. And check out some of my other videos on the channel. If you are still doing course 1, you can check out this video here. Or if you are doing course 2, you can check out this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.